Being the most awful of the
All
Jaws.
right, let's go 0 for 4. I'm feeling it.
Okay, the Wyoming legislature introduced what bill 3 times since 2005? It has not passed yet. A bill to eliminate vaping at bus stops. B, a bill to make the jackalope the state's official mythological creature. C, a bill to make public school students work for free lunches. Or D, a bill to clarify the definition of milk that it must come from dairy cows. I told her I blankety blanked in my blankety blank, and then Betty White laughed so hard her boob fell out.
There aren't any toddlers out there clamoring for free verse, like dramatic readings from Leaves of Grass at bedtime. Again, Daddy, the part where Whitman lists all the tradesmen for 2 full pages.
You know, there had to be smack talk in some of these fancy poetry readings. Bitch, please, Teddy wouldn't know alliteration if it came up and bit his ass. My question is, would it be possible to send a no thank you note? Could we make this a thing? Much more effective. Dear Aunt Gwen, thanks so much for the crystal stemware. It was very thoughtful, and despite the fact that we don't even have forks and can't afford health care, at least when it comes to candelabra, we can check that box off.
This is the Snaggletooth Rock and Roll podcast.
So if we're looking a little punchy, we're about to go in our 3rd day of Maryland Death Fest, hence
Yeah.
the green wristbands.
Yes, these are not for decoration.
Every time you walk past from going to stage, they just make you do this. So
Yeah.
after a while, you just start doing it automatically. And people who just walk up to you, you're just like, "Oh."
And
So-
boy, we've seen some good bands so far.
Yeah, some of which fall more into the rock and roll category. We did the pre-fest. Pentagram, of course, knocked it out of the park. Bobby Liebling looking better than ever.
Everyone was chanting Bobby, Bobby. Yeah.
Yeah, I heard he has to have a security detail now after the meme went viral.
Yeah, yeah.
Actually, because people accost him.
It was good. It was good. His new band did some old stuff. They did like Review Your Choices, and they did Lady Starlight, and they did but a lot of the stuff from the new album too, which is also great. Like I Spoke to Death. And,
Yeah, that was really
it was
good.
really good. So I mean, he's got like a new lease on life. For good for him. It was a great show. The one that really stood out to me was Unto Others. I was not expecting them to be like Thin Lizzy circa 1976, but that band, besides the music being fantastic, they have got the moves down. The back to back guitar solos,
The bassist was running all over the
running
stage.
up and down the stage. I mean, they had the
The
classic,
audience with the neck of her.
classic rock moves. It was like the spirit of Phil Lynott like lived inside this band, even though they were playing goth metal. So,
Yeah.
oh, and also there's a lot more double bass live than there was on the album, so it made it very, very much heavier than what you hear on the record. So
I didn't know if they kicked it up a notch for Death Fest, but either way, wow, we were floored.
didn't play Angel of the Night, however.
Unfortunately, where we were standing, I couldn't get out. I could live stream, but it
Yeah.
wouldn't let me publish
Best
it.
band, we picked the shittiest live stream place. So unfortunately, that's the only one that we didn't get live streamed. But we also did see Razor yesterday.
And yeah,
They were amazing, heavier than fuck. Bobby can still belt out the screams and cutthroat, and he
Yeah.
did. And the place lost their mind when they played Evil Invaders.
yeah, it was really, God, they sounded fantastic.
Mhm.
They looked great, even though he was saying it's very breezy on the stage they were on. He said, the few hairs I have left are blowing. It was pretty fun.
I was a guitar player, yeah. He had a cowboy hat on. Then Orange Goblin, this is their last tour, and they looked really good for having been around for, God, 30 years. They sounded really good. Was this the one that had the little kid on the side, Orange Goblin?
No,
Or somebody else?
no.
One of the bands, there was this little kid that was like on stage, and he was just going crazy. It was so cute. And somebody's kid, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, they were absolutely losing their mind. So that
Orange
was
Goblin did play several songs from Frequencies from Planet 10, which is my favorite album from them. And then Stace will now talk to you about Paradise Lost because I was just about in a drunken stupor by this point. This was one of the last bands. I was pretty much slumped over. So how was Paradise Lost, dear?
They were amazing. I have never seen them really live or been into their music. Was
Yeah.
instantly sucked in.
That's
You
your
know,
kind of stuff, yeah.
oh my God, the drummer. And they said he was a guest drummer and they were so thankful to have him, but I don't remember them saying who he was. Anyway, because their drum, of course, they lost their drummer. He passed away. So I don't know who they had behind the kit, but he was back there doing trigonometry. Um, God, their songs are so intense and proggy, and you can hear Rush, you can hear a little,
Very gothy too. You know.
but it's Doom too. So I was completely hooked. In fact, I was listening to their entire catalog this morning. Hope they come out with a new album on
It's
this.
amazing when you discover a band just by seeing them live for the first time. You're like, where was I on this, all this time? So,
Really slept on them.
so you're all probably wondering, why is the show called Love at First Limerick? Well, we've never really taken a formal shot at poetry before, so let's do it. It was clear from an early age that little Willard was something different from the other boys. Wrestling, baseball, climbing trees, none of it seemed to interest the young lad as much as the moon pouring down like silver or the dew glistening on the flowing honeysuckles. His parents were deeply concerned, his father Barney often yelling, "There's more to life than couplets, boy! How about you craft an ode to getting the trash out?"
His mother hoped it was a phase. She enrolled him in Cub Scouts. He showed up to the Pinewood Derby with a handcrafted haiku carved from a single piece of driftwood. No wheels. By middle school, while the other kids were playing dodgeball, Willard was sitting under a tree, writing metaphor-heavy letters to the sun. He wore a beret to gym class, not because he was French, just because the wind kissed it onto his head. His dad yelled, "You cannot major in moonlight studies, Willard. Do you think UPS is hiring for chief starlight analyst?"
It's kind of fascinating to me that you could actually make a living as a poet in the Victorian era. No side hustle, no late night bartending job, no Etsy shop, just straight up sitting under a tree in a billowy shirt, getting to rhyme sorrow with tomorrow.
Interestingly, Alfred Lloyd Tennyson's second book, simply called Poems, which is like naming your new album, Music,
House Swans, that is. But go ahead.
was so severely criticized by the poetry community that he didn't write another one for 10 years. What could have been so bad about it? Did he leave out the vowels?
My theory is it was a case of this poem about Starlight and Hyacinth was supposed to get me laid. The chick dozed off by the third verse. I want my money back. I think it was something like that. I guess poetry was a much bigger deal back then, especially in Europe. Pre-Netflix, hell, pre-electricity. There had to be smack talk at some of these fancy poetry readings. Bitch, please, Teddy wouldn't know alliteration if it came up and bit his ass. I'm about to drop a sonnet that's going to blow the roof off this place. You wait and see.
I'll have Byron crying into his cravat. Overuse of the thesaurus must have been like juicing on steroids. Call to arms were sometimes necessary.
Did he just say proselytizing the Hagiolatress? Margaret, if we don't step in now, it's just going to get worse. Someone stage an intervention. Let's ring up his editor and just bring a list of monosyllabic words.
I guess in modern times, the ultimate sweet poet gig would be writing greeting cards or something. Picture a conversation with two brothers, the poet and the plumber.
All right, I'll be mom. I'll be mom. Mom says, Robert, what did you do today?
Mom, I consider the lake accepts whatever it is given, from the pristine raindrop to the speckled dragonfly.
Mom says, that's wonderful, dear. How about you, Jack? How was your day?
I installed 3 shitters.
There you go.
Did you know that the King of England created a royal poet centuries ago? The poet to the king is called the Poet Laureate. They actually still have one now. In fact, they actually have one in every country. He is paid a modest salary, and some monarchs threw in barrels of wine as a sweetener.
Got my attention.
Back in 1984, a poet laureate named Ted Hughes was given 720 bottles of sherry as a gift from the crown.
Well, good for Teddy.
That's probably why his wife put her head in the oven.
His acclaimed titles after that included the world-renowned haiku, I Can Walk a Straight Line, and later the classic Ode to Sherry Pong. Guess who was a graduate student at Oxford University?
No idea.
Dr. Seuss.
Oh.
And I can only imagine they must have razzed him back then in the tea shop and classrooms about his work. I can picture him being ridiculed by cravated, serious academics writing dissertations on dianthesis and the decline of the British Empire. Come on, Seuss, nobody's going to publish your nonsense about ting-tinglers and trum-tukas. It's all about daffodils and nightingales, you know that.
Is he the most famous poet of all time? He's got to be the richest. Like Keats died penniless. Emily Dickin's poems weren't published until after she was dead. And Seuss, the rock star of rhyme, merch empire, theme parks, Hollywood deals, Mike Myers, Jim Carrey.
And our Susicles. Go check out season 2. We got some great ones. I mean, hence the hat.
Every 5-year-old can recite, I will not eat them in a box. I will not eat them with a fox. That's poetic dominance right there. There aren't any toddlers out there clamoring for free verse like dramatic readings from Leaves of Grass at bedtime. Again, Daddy, the part where Whitman lists all the tradesmen for 2 full pages. That'll put me asleep in no time. Our feature interview this week is with Marcus and Christopher Kinsberg of the Swedish noise rock trio, Bacon Wagon. We have a lively discussion with the brothers going all the way back to the early noughties formation of this bizarre, skronky moniker. We discuss how the band decided to reform after nearly 2 decades and record the excellent new album, Trauma Cake. Plus, we get into Halloween costumes, favorite Steve Albini records, and the perils of oil-based paint. So stay tuned for that.
Okay,
This one was a big fan, apparently, of Bacon Wagon, and still is. He's still here.
let's play Honey, I'm Home. Okay, let's talk about Patreon. The site is patreon.com/Snaggletooth Podcast. And for $6.66 a month, you get an out-of-control unicycle full of Mark and Stace.
You get lots of reviews on things we don't feature on the show. Things we feature on the show are things we like. There might be a few over there that get mediocre to horrible reviews. We don't know. And Mark has been doing a lot of book reviews based on the music industry. This
I
is something
finished
that's
this one. Huge reveal about this book in the review that's going to be on Patreon. You will not believe it. So you just have to head over to Patreon and check it out. But yeah,
Again.
the Brothers book will be featured this week.
exclusive content just for our Patreons. And remember, when you support the show, you help support the underground metal scene that we promote. And
Okay.
we'll continue to promote tonight.
Okay. Lush is leaving at exactly the right time because I think it's time for Obnoxious Trivia. Hit it.
And now it's time for Obnoxious Trivia!
Okay. Put so much work into this that I actually started to question whether I should even do it.
Oh my God, great.
Okay. Obnoxious Trivia starts with number 1. What was the European sportswoman Conchita Cintron famous for?
I think bananas.
A, she was the first woman to kayak the Strait of Magellan in southern Chile in 1956. B, she was a Chilean bullfighter that killed over 750 bulls during her career from 36 to 50. C, she won 4 gold medals for Spain alpine skiing in the 1980s. Or D, she was a member of the Spanish women's ski team and entered 3 Formula One Championship Grand Prix.
Conchita Cintron sounds like it could be Hispanic or it could be French. It's a very interesting name. Conchita Cintron. All right, I'm going to go with French from Cintron. So I don't think there's a whole lot of women from France who are on the ski team. That's like the Jamaican sled team. So, or skiing. Formula One, I don't think so. I don't think there have been any women bullfighters. So I'm going to go with she kayaked the Strait of Magellan.
I'm sorry, you're incorrect. She was a Chilean bullfighter.
Really?
And she really did kill over 750 bulls. They did have females. In Spain, they still have bullfighting schools, like lots of them.
Really?
Like in Spain, just in Spain. I don't know if Mexico does or not, but it's still a big deal. I mean,
Wow.
Okay, number 2. What was the fastest growing plastic surgery trend in the US from 2014 to 2016? Was it A, butt implants, B, tummy tucks, C, neck lifts, or D, breast augmentation?
2014 to 2016. That probably was something newer. I'm going to go with neck lifts.
I'm sorry, it was butt implants. There was, I can't remember the exact figure, something around 15,000 of them were done in 2015 alone. Crazy. Yeah.
I told you I dated a guy one time and we were staying, with a bunch of his family, at a motel. And we were watching this one couple's kids while they went out to dinner. And when they returned to the hotel room, she was a little tipsy and like literally pulled butt implants out of her underwear. She had them in her underwear.
Oh my
I don't
God.
know why she wanted to do that in front of us. Like, she kept that to herself.
That's one thing I'll never need because like so many people say you're an ass, man. Okay. Number 3. How much was Michael Caine paid for his role in Jaws for The Revenge? Okay. A, $1 million for 1 month of shooting. B, $3 million for 2 months of shooting. C, $1.5 million for 1 week of shooting. Or D, $5 million for 6 weeks of shooting.
Oh, wow. I don't think it would have taken a month to shoot a movie. I might be wrong, or 2 months. Let's say $5 million for 6 weeks of shooting.
I'm sorry. It was $1.5 million for 1 week. 1.5.
Wow.
He only had to do a week. And that movie won some awards.
Wow.
Anyway,
Apparently I'm way
for
off.
being the most awful of the
All
Jaws.
right, let's go 0 for 4. I'm feeling it.
Okay, the Wyoming legislature introduced what bill 3 times since 2005? It has not passed yet. A bill to eliminate vaping at bus stops. B, a bill to make the jackalope the state's official mythological creature. C, a bill to make public school students work for free lunches. Or D, a bill to clarify the definition of milk that it must come from dairy cows.
Okay, I think you have to say if the milk doesn't come from dairy cows. You can't just put goat's milk and just assume.
What about like almond milk and stuff? That's the thing.
Oh, the definition of
Yeah.
milk. Like coconut milk, almond milk.
Right. That you can't call it milk.
This one, milk and almond.
The way they
Always
make it is
wondered.
disgusting.
I don't think eliminate vaping at bus stops. I don't think anybody would care about that because it's not inside.
Maybe in Wyoming.
Public school students working for free lunches means they're not free.
Right.
All right, I'll say B, to make the jackalope the state's official mythological creature.
You are correct. Yes. They're so determined. I mean, why? A rabbit with horns? 3 times they've introduced it. And it dies in the Senate every time.
Wow.
That's what they're doing with our tax dollars in Wyoming.
Really intent on it.
Yeah.
That's going to put them on the map.
So you got one right. Very good. Okay,
Thank
this has been Obnoxious Trivia. Well, that was fun. At least you pulled yourself out at the end there.
Lord.
Yeah.
With the jackalope. I'm going to vote for that thing.
That question about the bullfighter, I must have spent an hour on that. Looking up now, I'm like, they all have to sound like they could be Hispanic. And I forget who the woman is, but there really was a woman that was on the ski team and did Grand Prix. Like that was an actual person. Like all those things actually happened just to other people. So anyway, it's time for this week's Snaggletoon. And Stace came up with the idea of writing about the weirdness of thank you notes.
Thank you notes can be the most awkward thing to write. Like, how formal are we supposed to be? Get out your quill pen. Dearest Aunt Mildred, thank you ever so much for the elegant punch bowl and matching crystal cups. I'm sure it'll be the centerpiece of many glamorous, Gatsby-esque family galas for years to come. I mean, I didn't even know they still made punch. What is this, 1954? Translation, it's currently in a box labeled regift, maybe, in the attic.
But that wouldn't be much of a thank you note, you see. And of course, you have to include the hopeful fake future fantasy. Someday my children will cherish these heirlooms right before they try to sell them at a yard sale for $3 and a free cat. But we push through, trying to sound gracious. Again, we are just so grateful for your thoughtfulness and for the surprise gift. Not even on our registry, which made it extra unexpected.
Thanks again. Thank you, sincerely, with warmest regards. Best wishes, much appreciation. P.S. T.Y. Smiley face emoji. At this point, I'm just typing every synonym for thanks, like I'm trying to summon a gratitude demon.
My question is, would it be possible to send a no thank you note? Could we make this a thing? Much more effective. Dear Aunt Gwen, thanks so much for the crystal stemware. It was very thoughtful, and despite the fact that we don't even have forks and can't afford health care, at least when it comes to candelabra, we can check that box off. Dear Uncle Charlie, thanks so much for the monogrammed ice bucket. This will come in handy because we can't afford to get our fridge fixed, and we've been living out of ice coolers like raccoons at a tailgate for the last 3 months. So yes, your gift is less of a conversation piece and more of a life support system. Hashtag ice receptacles rule. P.S. If you have monogram generator laying around, send that our way.
Come to think of it, if we're going to stop and jot down a note, aren't there other things we can do besides feign interest in lame gifts? How about a "you're a lousy driver" note? Dear Paul, just a quick note to let you know I won't be riding with you again. Driving on the shoulder, tailgating people, and screaming out the window that the lady in the Chrysler is a glorified speed bump was hard to sit through. My fight or flight response is still twitching, and I wasn't even behind the wheel. Sincerely, Dave.
P.S. The Prius you flipped off was a cop. Good luck with that, dipshit. How about for the office a stop eating my condiments note? Dear Paul, just a quick note to advise, I know you're the one stealing my sauce packets from the fridge. You know, there aren't many bright spots to my day, and that little splash of Chick-fil-A honey mustard sauce is sometimes the only thing preventing me from going postal on everyone's ass. You've been warned. Touch my condiments again, and I swear to God, there will be consequences, and none of them will come with dipping options. Have a great day. Love, Bill.
P.S. If you touch my Old Bay hot sauce next, I'm switching to Monster Energy Drink and letting chaos reign. And finally, the please control your children note.
Dear Bridget, just a quick note to say that Trey and Billy may need a tad more supervision at family gatherings. A lot of us were, let's say, on the conservative side, deeply alarmed last week when they started chasing the dog with a lighter and an aerosol can of hairspray. He's still slightly singed and extremely twitchy. He now dives under the sofa every time someone sneezes and growls in Morse code. Plus, whichever one of them somehow managed via plunger to flush a baseball down the toilet has created quite the plumbing bill for us. Thanks again for coming, and there's special memories. Restraining order to follow, Mark and Stace.
I grew up basically an only child. My one sibling is 10 years older and moved out before I could even start arguments about television show selection. So it's just me and my mom and dad. My mom and I shared a bathroom and pretty much everything in it. Deodorant? No biggie. Hairbrush? Sure. I mean, we are related and female. Then I get to college, and I get the roommate. She was super touchy about her stuff, like CSI level protective. One morning I was late for class, grabbed the nearest hairbrush, hers, apparently. Big mistake. Huge. Since she had black hair and I'm blonde, it wasn't exactly hard to figure out who committed the follicle crime. But instead of just saying something like a normal person, she goes full posted vigilante. I found a sticky note on the brush. Don't use my brush. Like it was evidence in a crime scene. Then it started spreading on her bookshelf. Don't touch my books. One even said, please don't sniff my highlighters. I was like, is this a dorm or a surveillance situation? It was death by 1,000 post-its. By the end of the semester, I was afraid to accidentally knock over her shampoo in the shower. Now I live with my husband. We share everything. No post-its required.
You can count how many times I steal her coffee during an episode. Sorry, I can't take it anymore. Let's play a song. Bacon Wagon, Lady Cramp's demo version. Okay, let's talk about imperfect foods.
Imperfect Foods is the grocery and staple supply service that comes right to your door. As a matter of fact, for lunch today, I used some chicken breast from them with some zucchini from them and some tiki masala sauce.
It was very curry adjacent.
You know, so they have all these wonderful.
It was a taste of India for breakfast.
They do have a lot of wonderful sauces. This week, as a matter of fact, I got a cilantro jalapeno dressing. Really different
Is
than
that the
them.
thing I was actual opening? Or?
No, that's a tiki masala sauce.
Okay, yeah. That was my contribution, was I got the jar open. No.
But lots of sauces, spices, meats, even meat adjacent things for you vegan guys. And we know we're looking at Bacon Wagon.
Here's how we packed their cooler for MDF. 8 beers, 6 minis, and we were really concerned about food, so 2 meat sticks.
Also from Imperfect.
Also from Imperfect. That was all we needed.
They also have chicken jalapeno sticks.
Today we're just going to have no meat sticks. I think we already ate them all.
Oh, I already packed the beef jerky.
Oh, we got that?
Mhm.
Cool. Very
Yeah.
good. Yeah, we don't need a lot of food to go with the alcohol, which is probably why I was a puddle on the floor by the time Paradise Lost took the stage, because I had had like one meat stick all day and drank all of the above. So, isn't it great?
Anyway, back to Imperfect. Use our link, and you too can get delicious produce, meats, pantry staples, desserts. They have all kinds of snacks. We love their snacks. Toffee almonds are a crack. Just saying.
Absolutely.
Use our link; it will save you off your first order.
Yes. And it is time for a very interesting change of pace collectorbation this week. I decided to go with Cop Shoot Cops. This is a brand new reissue of the 1990 record debut Consumer Revolt. Actually, their first demo was like a 7-inch, and it created some controversy because it was actually soaked in pig's blood, like for real.
Wow.
But then this came after. Anyway,
Wonder where they got all that pig's blood.
goes for quite a bit on Discogs. Just saying. Anyway,
Delightfully revolting.
yeah, see how I got Revolt in there? Yeah.
The band consisted of 2 bass players, no guitarist, and a drummer that liked to augment his sounds by banging on sheet metal. Cop Shoot Cop's sound is often described as industrial music, but bears little resemblance to the other bands with that tag, incorporating loops of found sounds and black humor. The album itself is a repugnant assembly of contradictions, sparring genres, and an appetite for all things abrasive, while warning the general public of corporate manipulation.
I do not remember writing that sentence. Well, I must have been drunk. Anyway, the name of the band, likely taken from a New York Post headline. Come to think of it, they could have easily been called Scumbag Shoots Angel or Bridal Wrath just as easily.
Beat it, bozo.
Beat it, bozo, all things considered. Produced by New York noise Svengali Martin Bisi, who had already established himself behind the board on releases by Blind Idiot God, Sonic Youth, and Foetus. This one flew by me on initial release, admittedly, but my sexually, emotionally, musically frustrated soul stepped right into a big pile of asked questions later in 1993, also a great album, by the way. And I quickly reread Cop Shoot Cop's original tea leaves to arrive at this record. Echoes of my days as a warehouse denizen trapped in the blandness of FM radio every day. I couldn't wait to emerge from the penitentiary to douse my brain in Todd A's libidinous bass grind. Let's play a clip. This is part of Smash Retro.
Did this guy think he was Satan's gift to music? Maybe he was. A holiday from dreary, fret-wielding, and toothless grunge. Pure anarchistic rambling, demented sampling, and eclectic rhythms, leaving me awash in delightful disorientation.
It was like the right album at the right time. Yeah.
So stripped back and full of potent poison, the record still sounds fresh and abrasive. Consumed at proper volume, the whirring bass and wailing Zepp sample of Smash Retro and brain-bruising trash art of Pity the Bastard deliver all the brutality those early Swans records coveted, but with results that feel less like self-flagellation and more like sonic exorcism. Sonic textures flicker and flash at machine gun speed.
I do have to say, we bash Swans a lot on this show, but to me, that band is like the Bill Murray of music. Like, I've never known a band where I'd be like, love this album's okay, hate this, love this, hate this. Like, I don't know what it is about Swans. I have like 4 or 5 of their records upstairs that I think are great, but they just swing so wildly into that, Anyway, back to this one. Phil Puello's bucket beatings are as vicious as they are distinctive. Even something like Disconnected 666 that you're about to hear, my inner music snob would totally relegate that to wanton filler, but it's creepily irresistible and replayable. Consumer Revolt is undoubtedly Cop Shoot Cops and possibly Noise Rock's finest moment, bar none. So check this out. If you're there, why won't you say something or hang up? This is Disconnected 666.
don't you say something or hang up?
Anyone introduce you to me?
This was our great chat with Christopher and Marcus. I had actually, before this interview, had not realized, I knew they were brothers, that they're twins. So I think at one point during the interview, they may even, I think during one of the questions, they were trying to call on that twin,
Yeah, he said like
mind.
telepath it to
Yeah,
me or
yeah,
something.
yeah. So I think they were talking about that. I always was like, is that a real thing? But then we got
We
sidetracked.
used to have Swedish bands on the show like every once a month. It's been a while, so it was nice to get back to that,
Yeah, really great bunch of guys. Love this album. I'm so glad they're back with this. If you haven't taken a listen already, it drops June 4th, I think.
Yeah, it's coming right up.
Yeah, so it's coming up soon. So make sure you get over there, and the cover art is worth the price of admission alone.
Yeah. Okay. Check it out. Yeah, I used to run an underground webzine back in the early 2000s, and you guys sent us a copy of Savant way back in like '06. So that's how I knew about you guys. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Cool. Yeah.
And we were honored that like you found us, I remember, because it was such a strange album. We were always like strangely flattered that, especially if it was a non-US band, that somehow they figured out that we were weird enough to like it. So, let's start off with the name Bacon Wagon. It sounds like a greasy emergency somewhere, like a rolling meat locker and a noise rock ambulance. So, like, where did the name come from? And is it like a nod to carnivorous chaos, or are you guys just into like salty, beefy, constantly in motion type of thing?
I don't know. We had a really hard time finding the right name for the band, and I think it was a different name for a cop car I found somewhere.
Yeah, here it can be kind of slang for an ambulance, like a meat wagon is slang for,
Aha, okay.
Yeah.
Even better.
Okay, so serious question. What's your
Yeah.
favorite way to enjoy bacon? Like just a one with a cup of black coffee or wrapped around something, or is there some Swedish great bacon recipe we're missing out on?
There's both me and Marcus are vegetarians.
That makes it even better.
So my answer to that has to be fake bacon.
Okay.
Tofu bacon.
Yeah, plant-based. Yeah.
It actually can be pretty good with the seasoning. My daughter is vegetarian and she always makes up these sausage. I wouldn't know the difference with all the spices.
Oh, that's funny that you guys are vegetarian. Were you always, or is it more recent, or like how long?
Oh, I don't know, like 15 years back for me.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, we kind of get that question quite often when they hear our band name.
Yeah.
And everyone gets shocked when we say we don't eat
Yeah, exactly.
bacon, but yeah.
No, that's funny.
So since you guys are brothers, was music baked into your family's DNA? Did you grow up surrounded by instruments and noise, or was it just kind of a rebellion in a quiet household?
It was both our mom and dad. Our mother was really into the Beatles, and our father is really into the Rolling Stones. So we kind of had the best of both worlds in rock.
Yeah.
And there was always music around often. So yeah, that's it.
But neither of our parents played any instruments or so.
Okay.
We had to learn by ourselves. Really, it was music around in the household, but no one played like an instrument. So yeah.
It's funny with the synesthesia you have. My parents always would play music while we would always clean the house on Saturdays. And if you put on Fleetwood Mac, I swear I can smell furniture polish.
Yeah, the
That's
smell
great.
is always takes you back. Yeah.
Yeah. Funny.
Well, I mean, were your parents supportive of the type of music you were playing, or was it like get that noise out of the house type of thing?
Well, we grew up with our mother because our parents split up when we were like, how old were we, Christopher? Like 8 or 9?
Yeah.
Something?
Yeah.
But yeah, our mother was she was quite supportive
Okay. Yeah.
of what I can remember. I would
Yeah,
say, yeah.
absolutely. I
But
agree.
I mean, she always wanted us to like get a job, so we can move out of the house. But yeah, when you come, I don't know. Have you guys played in bands also, or
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, when I was young, but I find that in Scandinavia, it seems like parents are more supportive of arts than in the US, where they're just like, "That's really
yeah,
cute. Now get a job."
yeah.
So yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I think yeah, my mother was real supportive. Yeah, but also like time to get a job, pay for
Every
yourself.
family's different.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it was funny. We were talking to Martin from Undergang, and he said he got so into it. He was into church burnings, and they had so much backlash. His parents had to move.
Mm, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, what he said was because we asked this question a lot. How'd you get into it? Were your parents supportive? And he
Mm.
just said, "Oh, well, I went on a TV show and talked about murdering people and how all the churches should be burned, and we
Mm.
had to move." I was like, "Wow, that's the most colorful answer to that question I've ever gotten."
Yeah.
Wow, yeah. He was all in from like the age of 12.
Yeah.
You guys had that famous split with Baltimore with Dactyl back in 2006. So how did that collaboration come about? Was it an admiration kind of thing or a label thing, or how did that come together?
You can answer
What?
that, Christopher.
What?
Yeah, you can answer that.
I think it was through MySpace, wasn't it?
Okay.
Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah, we were just out searching for other noise punk bands, and we saw the Dactyl logo with the gun logo, and thought it was really cool, and we became friends. And so we said, yeah, we should do a split final. And from
But
there on,
hey,
we discussed to like coming over to the States and do some shows, and they were super cool. Yeah, really friendly.
In fact, I was looking at one of your old flyers. Mark thinks he might have been at the Frasers on the Avenue.
No, I was there. I was there. Yeah. So the funny thing
cool.
about that is we never took Dactyl seriously until you did that split with them. Because we were
Mm.
Baltimore and we were just like, oh, local, let's go get something to eat. It's only
Yeah,
Dactyl. And then as soon as they did that split with you guys, it gave them immediate credibility. We're like, well, maybe they're not that bad. So yeah. So yeah, you gave them credibility to us. So yeah.
Oh, nice.
yeah,
We took them seriously because of Bacon Wagon. So yeah.
Cool.
nice.
Do you have any standout memories from that tour? I know it was a while ago. I love the footage of the living room show. Were there any real Spinal Tap moments or chaotic things that you can remember?
Ooh,
Um,
I don't know really, but we just were cramped up in a small van, doing I don't know. Yeah, we played in that living room. I can't remember. Was it like Richmond or something? And
Yeah,
then we
Virginia.
had
Yeah.
these really long drives, and you never knew how many people would show up. At some show, I remember we drove to Pittsburgh and played like a really strange house, and everyone was super drunk, and there was like a almost like a hostile feeling in the. There was
Yeah. Yeah.
one guy who just stood in front of us and shouted at at me and Christopher during the whole show. I can't remember what he
Wow.
said, but it was like you could almost feel you were about to get punched or something during the whole show.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
that's a
I
Yeah.
good
remember
vibe to
one.
play to.
yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember one special moment on the tour. We were playing. I don't know. Do you remember, Marcus, where it was? We were playing in that warehouse and the bicycle uh, store. All the people had like BMX bikes that they had
Yeah.
rearranged to really strange bicycles, and we were playing, and it was really loud. Just one big place.
One big
So
warehouse.
the sound was really loud, and all the people were bicycling, like a mosh pit, but with bicycles.
With
and they had
like a
this
circle pit.
they had these horns on the steering wheel, and one was like all covered in fur.
It was like Mad Max with bicycles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's funny what you say about feeling like you were going to get punched, because we went to a lot of like house shows, and you dressed really as poor as you could for those shows. Like you would never wear like a leather jacket or anything like that that would make you stand out. You would dress like in like ripped, stained shirts. You wanted to look like basically a homeless person, because then they wouldn't try to like mug you, Don't give them any indication that you have any money in your wallet,
Yeah.
Yeah, because everybody was drunk and pretty hostile typically,
Yeah.
Safety first.
Yeah. Safety first, yeah. Yeah. You would never wear anything new. Yeah.
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 So 2006 to 2023 is a hell of a nap.
Yeah.
What were the series of events that got the wagon back into motion? Was there a specific spark that pulled you back into writing or recording, or did the itch just kind of creep back over time?
Oof. I remember I had was it birthday party at my place, and we all met up, me, Christopher, and Peter, and we started just like we were kind of drunk and started talking about getting the band together just to write some songs. Am I correct, Christopher?
I don't remember. I was so drunk.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, it was.
Well, something good came out of it at least, right?
Some of our best ideas start that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
So, do you remember the point it went from, hey, let's jam, to holy hell, we're making a full album?
Yeah.
It went kind of quickly. We met up and talked about making some new songs and getting the band back together, but really nothing serious. But then we started doing some songs that we felt
right.
like it rocks, I guess. And it just escalated and snowballed, I guess.
Like, get lucky for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
After years in other bands like Hoofs Not Hands, Pretty Skull, Navarre, Bastard Grave, did any of those experiences bring something new to Bacon Wagon this time around?
I guess you have to answer that, Marcus. You've been in more bands than I have.
I guess it does, because me and Peter started Hoops Not Hands quite quickly after Bacon Wagon called it quits, and it was it was more or less like a noise rock band, but kind of short-lived. And then Peter, he's like he's in many bands. He plays like in a death metal band, Bastard Grave. So I think his drumming has took off. But I mean, for our like on the album, I think when we got back together, we were like we wanted it to make it more like easy songs, not not so
technically.
What's that?
Yeah, not so technically.
Yeah. But yeah, that is like a challenge also, to make songs less difficult.
Yeah.
And have songs that's longer.
Yeah.
That's the problem. It's really hard to make a song long enough than maybe 2 minutes, I think.
Yeah. I don't know if I answered your the question correctly, but
No,
yeah,
no, that's fine.
the best answer I can come up with.
Yeah, it always seems like drummers are overbooked. It seems like there's a shortage of drummers always.
Yeah, drummers
Yeah.
are usually in like 5, 6 bands.
I mean, I think the only one that outdoes him is Raga Johansson. He's in about 9, 12. Who knows?
He's
Yeah.
Swedish also. How do you like that?
Yeah. But
Every
I
time I
mean,
come a new band, I'm like, oh, it's a Raga band.
Raga
when we
Johansson, he's a guitar player. He's got to be in like 30 different death metal bands. He's just
yeah.
yeah.
But
But anyway,
I mean, when we started Bacon Wagon, it was just Christopher and I. I played drums, and we took turns on the guitar when we recorded, and it wasn't until we got Peter, lured him in our band, that I switched to guitar, and yeah, it was that was like the first time I felt like it was a proper
yeah.
band.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did a split 7-inch with his old band, and I think he really liked our music, and I think their old band instrument were like not. I think Peter wanted to play more this in the style of Bacon Wagon, so
Yeah, more basic
we
stuff.
got him over to the dark side.
Yeah. Yes. Speaking of which, so where does the title Trauma Cake come from? I mean, that's there's got to be a story to that. And who's eating it, I guess. Be my
Who's
question.
baking it?
Yeah.
Well, actually, it's from my youngest child. He's 10 years old, and he was sitting around and playing a video game, and he was talking to his friend, and somehow I was walking by, and I thought he said trauma cake or something, and I thought that's an excellent album title.
Is that what he said, or was he saying something else?
I think it was something with trauma or cake. I don't remember really.
It wasn't
But-
it like his avatar name in the video game or something?
Yeah, maybe something
okay.
like that. But it was all by accident. But it worked out pretty fine, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
And then what about the album cover? I mean,
Oh.
what's going on in that painting, and how did you choose that artwork?
It looks like it could be a children's book, but then it's also like a mushroom trip with those laser eyes.
Well, when I'm not doing music, I make art, and it's a painting I did actually. So it's a kind of large painting I did, and yeah, I did it when we decided to make a full-length album. I thought, yeah, I got to do the cover. So I did like the painting with the I had the album like visionized, or how do you say, like yeah,
Yeah.
and kind of like I wanted somehow to represent the feeling of the music and album. Yeah.
It looks like there's a very large slab of meat. Is that
Yeah.
what that
Bacon.
is?
Yeah.
So again, the vegetarian thing being chow,
Yeah.
a surprise.
I got it.
Mm.
Hold on. I'm in my
Okay.
studio actually. It is here.
Okay.
If you can, I don't know if you can see it.
Oh
Oh,
yeah, we can see it.
wow.
Look at that. Okay,
Ah.
great.
Yeah.
Wow, look at that. You should put that up on Etsy.
Yeah.
Do you think that was kind of debating if bacon was mesmerizing the child or the child was mesmerizing the bacon?
Oof. I don't know.
Kind of looks like a Hansel and Gretel situation. Look,
Yeah.
it's bacon. Lure you
See,
in.
I agree. I would rather not know. Like I want to leave the mystery unsolved. I
Yeah.
just think it's better that way, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll skip an answer on that one.
There you go, right. Yeah.
So what was it like recording with Oliver Dahl at Studio Quaalude? Did the studio live up to its name? It sounds like it should be some surreal promise in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was really good experience, and he's a really cool guy that's into a lot of the same bands that we are into, and he was really easy to work with, and I think we just usually when we record, we usually take the first take. We would like to take the first take, but he was like, "Yeah, let's do another one." No, yeah, let's do another one, and we had to kind of get along there. But maybe we did 2 takes on some songs, Marcus.
Yeah, maybe one song we made two takes,
Yeah.
but yeah, we're not. We get like I don't know what's the word I'm looking for, Christopher. We restless.
Uh, Restless.
Yeah, thanks.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I
Yeah,
can see that.
we're not very fond of the whole studio process, and we like to make it like a band rehearsal or like a live take.
Yeah.
When we were in the studio. So yeah, it
Well, I had listened
went
to the
pretty
new
fast.
album.
Yeah.
I had listened to the new album like 3 or 4 times, and then I thought, let's go back to Savant. And when I went back to Savant, I was like, wow, this clearly there's a little bit of production on the new stuff because Savant still sounds like a chainsaw. I mean, is that just the inexperience of the time or what? I mean,
Well,
Yeah.
Savant, we recorded in that is actually Peter, the drummer,
okay.
in his basement, and he recorded it. It's just me and Christopher and another dude on guitar. And it's I don't know. Yeah, the
It's a
sound
beast
is
up.
it is what it is.
Yeah, it kind of makes the new stuff sound like Dark Side of the Moon a little bit, actually. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. Low budgets, very low
Yeah.
budgets.
Yeah.
So you dropped a variety of meltdowns on March 10th, and now Trauma Cake lands June 6th. That's a pretty fast turnaround from demo sketches to full-blown vinyl freakout. Between those 2 releases, was there any track that went through a biggest transformation?
Christopher, you wanna
Uh,
say that?
not really. I think it's pretty much the same, but I don't think, isn't it, Marcus? It's pretty much the same.
Yeah, I would say, yeah.
I would just say it sounds a lot the same, but the production is so much better on the finished product.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. We are very pleased with the whole process, and when I got in touch with Chris X on Reptilian, he was immediately, he wanted to release it, and we wanted to get it out as fast as possible. So it all clicked very nicely, I think.
It came out really well.
Yeah, thank you, thank you.
Well, I wanted to ask you about the song Lady Cramps because I just figured, is this a song about mental cramps or a woman cramping your style or, what's going on there?
You did the lyrics on that one, Christopher, so you have to answer that.
Yeah, but it's your title.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. The title doesn't reflect the lyric part of it, I believe.
Ah, okay.
More of a working title.
Yeah.
Very cryptic. Yeah.
Yeah, there's not much meaning into that song. I think it's just words fitting well together, I guess, to the music.
That would actually be a pretty good band name for an all-girl band. Taking the Stand, Lady Cramps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm surprised it's not taken, frankly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it. So on Love Blister, what kind of inspired that long drawn out kind of scream or moan at the end? It's unhinged in the best way. Was it like catharsis, collapse, or climax? I couldn't figure out which.
I don't really know. I always wanted to have like do you know the Nirvana song Moist Vagina?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you know the ending to that song?
Yeah. Yeah. I got it. Yeah.
Yeah, I always liked that ending very much. And I was thinking, can we do something like that? So it was through that.
Yeah. I think you did it better with it. Yeah. I think you improved it, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Thanks.
kind of this punch and exclamation point all in one.
Yeah, that's the way you
Yeah.
end a song. Yeah.
Mm.
Also, for Love Blister, is that a metaphor for kind of the pain and perseverance of pursuing love? Or are we talking about an actual sex injury we won't judge?
Well, I don't know. We just
No
when we
comments.
when we like do a song, and we always have like a working title on it, and we kind of just try to find like ridiculous names for the song. Like it's more like a working title, and we just ended up using it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, when we were putting these questions together, it occurred to me that another great name for a band would be Sex Injury. That would be great.
Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
That
Yeah.
title will be in the next album.
Okay, there you go. Yeah. You can have that one. There you go.
Thank you. Thank you.
I dated this guy in my late teens who like gave me like some huge hickey on my neck, and I was trying to hide it from my father. I'm like wearing scarves. He's like, "You don't wear scarves." I'm like, "I do now." Like, don't do that anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's a teenage thing.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It's like they're marking you or something. So I love Brown Gravy. That was one of my favorites. The way it just echoes, the echoey vocals really stand out. How did you achieve that? And is that something you kind of experimented with through the studio, or did you have that vocal effect in mind from the start?
When we did the demo version, we just wanted really much the vocals to blend in with each other, and yeah, we always liked the Big Black.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, the Big Black stuff.
Atomizer.
He uses that quite a lot. Steve Albini in his recordings, and we kind of always loved that, and because in the past we have never really used any like effects on the vocals. So when we recorded this song, we put quite a lot on my vocals, like echoes and delays, and you, Christopher, you like I don't know if you can hear it properly, but you kind of like talk out of sync, in the so it's like more effects on it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was like deliberate. We wanted to do it like so it blends in. You can't really make out the words. Yeah.
That's wild.
So which album's better? Atomizer or Songs About Fucking? Which one?
Ooh, tough
Atomizer.
choice. Yeah, I have you asked me like 15 years ago, I would say songs about fucking, but yeah, I think Atomizer is
Yeah, I
that's a
think
strong record.
Atomizer's
Yeah.
my favorite. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're both so great though. I mean,
Yeah.
And you guys are from the same land that created the Brain Bombs too. Have you ever seen them live?
No.
I've never
Never.
seen them, but yeah, they played here. I live in Helsingborg, and they played in Malmo not very long ago. But yeah, I couldn't go. But yeah, I would really like to see them. Yeah.
Yeah, for the type of music you play, they're one of my favorites. Totally.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, they're a great band.
Amazing band. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I really also liked Honey, I'm Home, which also kind of has those layered vocals. But I had to ask, was that kind of a nod to The Shining?
Ooh.
No, I don't. No, it wasn't.
Maybe the Flintstones?
Yeah, that's it. I don't know. It's just one of those silly titles me and Marcus we used to send to each other by the phone. All these ridiculous band titles, song titles, and some end up what do you say? Like
On the
on
record?
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's it, pretty much.
Do you have like a whiteboard where you write all your crazy titles on or something? Like, how do you keep track of them?
I have a note in my phone. I have a notebook there. I have a long list.
Yeah.
And we used to send like text messages back and forth with just ridiculous song names or yeah. Yeah, so we can pick one out when we find the right tune to go with it.
Okay.
Well,
Okay.
you had me
Some-
fooled. I was over analyzing. I'm like, wait, this is
Mm.
kind of eerie and maybe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought the same thing. Yeah.
So, looking at the world now and at yourselves, what do you think this record says about where you are now compared to where Bacon Wagon started? Is this album more cynical, more honest, or just louder?
Louder, definitely. I think. Yeah.
I think it's more true to the sound that we have been like,
Searching for.
yeah, how we wanted the band to sound like. Because if you hear like the early recordings, it happens too much stuff, I think, in the songs. We want to press in as much as possible in a short amount of
Yeah,
time.
condense it. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so now we will. I think it. I really like the sound more. Like we have longer songs, and we can take one riff and just use it for a long time. And because yeah, it's quite challenging for us at least. I think to have like one riff, like in Honey I'm Home, it's the same riff basically in the whole song. So yeah. But yeah, I think it's more the sound that we want it to be, I guess.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, not as much recently because I've seen them recently, but I remember back in the 90s, late 90s, I would go see the Melvins and Buzz could take one note that was feeding back and he would just like massage it for 10 minutes. Like
Yeah.
that's like the ultimate of just not caring. And I'd be like, I gotta go to the bathroom. Is he gonna wrap this up or what? You know,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
Look at the time.
are we gonna go on to another song at all? You know,
Yeah.
the
I have
drummers
to go to
left,
work
you
tomorrow.
know. Anyway, yeah.
We do a game?
Yeah, let's do our game.
So we play a game on the show. It's called, well, normally it's 5 questions with me. But since there's 2 of you, let me have you each pick 3 numbers which will correspond to a random question you will answer.
So 3 numbers between 1 and 100.
Hmm.
Who wants to
Okay.
go first?
You want to go first?
13.
11.
87.
Okay.
Well, each of you get 3, so
Aha. Okay. 88.
3 each?
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you got 2 more.
2 more. I'll take
No,
70.
no, one more.
One
One
more.
more for each.
Okay, 78. And is it me or you?
And then one more. Yeah, one more
5.
for Christopher.
Okay.
Okay. One more for me. 4.
All right.
Uh-oh.
I guess we'll kick off with Marcus. 13. If you could be any character from a book, movie, or show, who would it be and why?
Book, movie, or show? Oh, tough question. I don't know. I last night I was out drinking some beers with a friend, and we talked about the book. I don't know what it's called in English, but The Dice Player. Do you know that one?
I don't think so.
Have you read that?
I don't think so. No.
It's about a guy who tosses the dice, and he makes up like a really odd list of what he is supposed to do, and it's like really strange stuff. So he's got to
Okay.
do it, and the book it's more and more yeah, it's more like a downfall for him. But yeah, maybe
Oh,
maybe
that's
that guy
interesting.
from that book.
So he makes choices based on the dice, like the roll
Yeah,
of the dice. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's yeah.
it's control his life. So yeah, it's
Yeah.
yeah, maybe that guy.
Okay.
Sounds like
Yeah.
it'd be a good Twilight Zone.
That's how you pick your song titles, I think. You know.
Yeah.
All right,
From now
so
on.
Yeah.
sticking with you, you chose 87. How do you feel about pinned insects collections?
They're okay, I think.
As long as they're not still alive on there.
Yeah, yeah, really. But could be nice to watch.
Flapping your wings.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also chose 78. I don't know why this printed so big this time, but it did. 78. What do you think is the most underrated movie of all time?
Underrated movie. Oof. Hard to pick one just on the top of my mind, but I've been so bad at watching movies lately, but oof. Can I get like 20 minutes to think about it?
That's good interview time. Yeah.
Yeah. Christopher, do you have one?
Uh,
Telepath it to me.
hmm.
Underrated movie.
You have to figure that one out yourself.
I guess there is you guys don't know it, but one of my favorite movies came out like I don't before I was born. It's about like a guy. You know the actor Stellan Skarsgård? Do you know him?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Okay, he's been yeah, he's quite famous. But yeah, it was like his first movie. He plays like a retard guy
Okay.
who grows up in like rural Sweden, and yeah, he ends up like killing all of his nemesis in the end of the movie, and yeah, it's called in Swedish Den enfaldiga mördaren. I don't know how you translate that to
That's fine.
English,
Yeah.
but check it out if you want to see a really good Swedish movie. I recommend it.
Okay.
Kind of like a of Mice and Men vibe,
Hmm?
like Hemingway's of Mice and Men with the kind of
Yeah, it's kind of like that, yeah.
they underestimate him, and he's a
Mhm.
strong guy at the end of it. All right, we're up to number 11. What's the strangest place you've ever woken up after a party?
Oof. Is that me again? Did I choose 11?
Actually, that
Yeah.
was
Yeah, you chose
oh
11.
The strangest place I've oh Jesus. Oof. Man, those are hard questions. Hmm. Um, I don't know. Christopher, do you remember when we played
Yeah,
in
in
that
that.
art
Yeah,
gallery
yeah, that was just
or
what came
art
to mind.
school?
Yeah, with the fumes from all the oil paintings.
Yeah,
That was surrealistic.
yeah,
Surreal.
and yeah, we played like an art school here in Sweden many years ago, and it was like a huge party. Everyone was super drunk or high, and I don't know, we played there, and we kind of partied very late, and we woke up in like a strange house. I can't remember. Uh, Do you remember? We woke up like
Yeah, it was in the attic of the house, I think.
was
One of
it?
the yeah, what's it called? Atelier.
Yeah, like a studio, art
Yeah,
studio
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
there
in
was
like an
all
attic.
these open oil painting tubes.
Yeah.
It was just fuming in there,
oh
and that was one of the worst headaches I've ever had in my life.
Not from the alcohol, just from the fumes.
Yeah, the
Oh,
air was
yeah.
just vibrating, and my head
And
was
Yeah.
like,
and the skull.
yeah. Oof.
Speaking of that, I remember a few years ago, I was painting. We had this really dark paint and we wanted to paint the room white. So I had to get oil-based paint, which smells really
that's
bad,
bad.
right?
Mhm.
and I had only one window and it was open, but it was starting to get to me. The fumes were really starting to get to me. And what happened was I was listening to obviously heavy metal
Mm.
and it started giving me a headache. And I thought to myself, is this what heavy metal sounds like to other people that don't like it?
Yeah.
And is my brain going to ever be the same again? Like, because I went outside for a while and tried to get it back, and it took until the next day. I was okay after that, but I thought that I was like, am I ever going to be able to listen to loud music again? Or
Well,
do I have permanent brain damage from this pain?
Yeah.
You
it's
know?
it's fun.
Yeah.
It's funny you mentioned that because I worked as a painter for over
Uh-huh.
10 years. And one of the company I worked for, they only used like oil-based colors. And
Right.
you know, when you work in that environment for like day in,
Yeah.
day out, you know, it's
Yeah.
you
And
get
people say, well, you have to ventilate, but if the room only has one small
yeah,
window, what are you
yeah,
supposed to do? You know? So yeah.
yeah,
Oh, I've done that. You bring a fan in, and all it does is blow the fumes around. It's
I was
horrible.
just glad I survived. That's all.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right, someone picked 88. What's your favorite ice cream flavor?
My favorite ice cream flavor, vanilla.
Okay.
Boring answer.
No, that's a good one.
Hey, it's your answer. It's your answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, I always we got a new ice cream parlor close to where I work, and they have all this vegan ice cream. So
Mm.
they have like Captain Crunch flavor and all this crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember when we were in the States, you guys have a lot more flavors to
Yeah.
maybe ice cream and other things. It's just feels really basic in Sweden.
That's probably
compared.
better. I mean, it's gotten really ridiculous over here. I mean, in the grocery store, they have almost an entire aisle just for Oreos. There are
Yeah.
so many flavors of Oreos. It's like I just say, you know, is somebody really like, oh, they have strawberry funnel cake? Thank goodness. You know, it's just too many. It's too many
Yeah.
choices. No.
Goofy.
Does the cat have a question also?
Yes, he's very into everything.
Sometimes they like to be in the show, and then other times we can't get them to come down at all. So you never
This
know.
is Lucius. He's very invasive, and his favorite place to be. Like we were sitting out on the porch. It was a storm, and we have like a covered porch. So he wanted out, and he loves to be right in between us.
Yeah.
I was like,
And he likes interviews. When we're just doing the show,
Mm.
he doesn't want it. He's like, oh, you're not even talking to anybody. Like he won't come down for that.
Yeah.
oh,
He likes the dialogue. So
Yeah.
yeah, I guess.
all right. Last question is number 4. What's the best Halloween costume that you have ever seen?
Oof. The best, I think, it was from I saw it maybe last Halloween. This really small guy came knocking on the door, and he was just really small, but he was perfectly dressed as Freddy Krueger. You know, with
Oh wow, that's
the
cool.
knives on the fingers, and it was
Yeah.
just like much more creepier when it was this small kid, you know, with the hat and the
Yeah.
shirt, the stripes, and everything. That was really good.
Yeah, that's
Wow.
cool.
Yeah.
I used to work at a restaurant where they had a big Halloween party every year and like a cash prize for the best costume. I mean, people must have spent money and so much time. They had one guy, he had himself in an electric chair. So it looked like it was his leg. Obviously, he had his legs underneath, but
Yeah.
it was the whole chair, the whole get up. He could shock himself. It was like, oh my God,
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Awesome.
Yeah, it is cool. Mm.
So for Bacon Wagon, if you could force one mainstream pop star to cover a Bacon Wagon song, who would you choose?
Uh,
A mainstream pop artist?
Yeah.
Was it that? Okay.
Yeah.
And they have to do a Bacon Wagon song cover.
Interesting. Wouldn't it be nice if Britney Spears did a Bacon Wagon song?
Or was it supposed to Bacon Wagon would cover or
No, she would cover your song.
Yeah, yeah, that would be nice,
That's
interesting to hear.
mainstream.
I'd like to see
Yeah.
that one.
That's pretty mainstream for sure.
Britney Spears covering "Honey, I'm Home." That would
Okay.
be
Yeah.
nice.
There you go.
So you have your album release it's coming up this weekend. Do you have a set list in mind?
For the show,
Yes.
yeah, we're we're gonna do like the just the songs off the album, just
Okay.
exactly
The
the
new
way it is
stuff.
on the album. Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be good.
I
So you're not going to break
remember
out any no Savant stuff's coming out.
we talked about like doing the is the song Garbo on Savant?
Yeah.
No.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to play that, but you didn't want to do it, Christopher. So, yeah.
So what do you think's the worst moment you ever had on stage where you forgot the lyrics, fell off the stage, started the wrong song?
Yeah, I know that. I think it was the first show we did when we got back together, and we were trying this song Hyena Hyena, and that was the first time we were doing it live. And 5 seconds before we were starting the song, you Marcus, you came over to me and said to me really up close that the refrain, or what do you call it?
Chorus.
Yeah, it's like in a different key.
Yeah, key.
Right.
Different
Yeah.
key. Because we had rehearsed it, and yeah, we played the chorus in the wrong key.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Did people
and I
notice?
had
you
it in
think?
the back of my mind, but I forgot to tell him before. So we did like the sound check, and yeah, it sounds cool, but yeah, when we were about to do the song, oops, I forgot to tell him it's yeah, it's down two bars on the bass, and you were like, yeah, yeah,
I was
you were not
not
happy.
happy,
No.
to say the least.
There's a live Motorhead show, and I can't find it. I don't. There's so many, right? And
Mm.
there's one where the guitar player starts to play a song, and it's obviously wrong, and Lemmy goes, "Playing it by yourself." It's hysterical, and I wish I could find it. I don't know. I used to have it like on a mixed, CD somewhere. I can't find it. It's so funny.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that where you're just like, playing it by yourself, Oh.
Awesome.
So any chance of a US tour down the line? I know a lot of us over here would love to see the Bacon Wagon roll through again. I mean, we'll clear out the basement down here if you
For your
Yeah.
basement show, yeah. A safe environment. Yeah.
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 Yeah, we would love to do it. But yeah, we were right now we're just trying to like arrange like a smaller European tour. We have actually never toured in Europe. We only did the US tour way back. But yeah, I would love to tour in the States again. I think that kind of music is more people are more into it in the States. I mean, here in Sweden, it's like I don't know, not that many who likes that kind of
Yeah.
music.
Question for you. So when you came here for that tour with Bacon Wagon, was that your first time in the United States?
No,
No.
actually, we toured in what year was it? We played in a previous band. I don't know if you know it, Acid Ape.
Oh yeah, I know that man. Right. Okay.
Yeah, that's my me and Christopher's old band. We did
Okay.
a small tour. What year was that, Christopher? You know?
Maybe it was 2003, maybe. I think.
Okay. So you had been here before.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
So
I mean, when we did that tour, it was the band that we were supposed to tour with, a band called Kung Pao from New York. They told us like on the day when we left Sweden that they had broken up. So we
Oh,
arrived
geez.
in New York. We had like no gear. I had like three cymbals, and we
Oh,
had like a
wow.
guitar and a bass, and we had to rent a small car and just do the tour and ask every every band on the bill, can we use your gear?
Oh, wow.
So it was like, yeah, it's funny now when you look back at it, but I remember when we were there, it was like, oh God, how
Yeah.
That's
You were
very
just like,
punk rock,
can we?
though.
Yes. Can we please use your gear, please?
At least you
Yeah.
got it done, though. That's something to be proud of, because it sounds
Yeah.
like it was really challenging,
Mhm.
But
And
it was really fun. It was a really fun tour. I think we played at the what's it called? The festival, Emissions of Monolith.
oh, from the Monolith, emissions
Yeah.
from the Monolith. Yeah, okay,
Mm.
yeah,
That was
that's really
cool.
cool. That's a great festival.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that
Is it
still around?
I don't think so. I don't think so. That was a big Stoner Rock thing back when stonerrock.com was a big source,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
So
like odd. We've been going to Maryland Doomfest too for the last couple years, and now they're saying this year is going to be the last one. So we'll see if that's true or not.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah. So do you remember when the first time you came here, were you surprised by like how long our highways are and
Yeah.
how big everything is? It's
Yeah. All the buildings are really tall.
yeah.
But I think also people are much more what do you say, social to each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, open.
Oh, in the United States, you mean?
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Much
Depends where you go.
Yeah, I guess.
New York City,
yeah,
not so much,
more,
Boston, not so much, but
Down here, I mean, you can't go out to a bar and try to have a private conversation where everybody else is talking to you and,
yeah.
telling you how they learned to make coffee and all kinds of ridiculous
I know what you
things.
mean though, because I worked for a Danish company, and the people when I would go there were much more reserved, like "Good morning, how are you?" That was it. Not as well. Let me tell you about my weekend. There was a lot less of that.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
I know what
know.
you
I
mean.
work for a doctor's office, and if you even say to the patients, "How are you?" You'll get a launch of every bad ache, pain they have. I'm like,
I go
I was just saying
on and
hi.
on
That's
and
Yeah.
on. Yeah. No, but I always wonder if you've lived in Scandinavia all your life and you finally come here and you realize that you could drive for 2 days in Texas and still be in Texas. It's got to be mind blowing,
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a really big country.
Yeah, I mean we're used to it, but at the same time, it's just and subsequently when we go to Europe, it's like driving around New England. We're just like we're in another country,
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
We've only
How
been in
did
the
that
car.
happen?
We've only been in the car for half an hour. Now we're in Belgium.
Yeah.
That's
Have you
like
been
the
to Sweden?
Americans. Yeah, I've never been to Sweden. Like I said, I've been to Denmark a bunch of times, but I haven't been to Sweden. So.
Mm-hmm.
I
Okay.
definitely want to go to, we were talking about at least coming to Europe for the road burn because I've never been.
We want to go to Roadburn because that's a really great festival. Yeah.
Falling on deaf ears.
Okay, Deaf Here's One. This is a new album from Media. Just called Media. So here's a question. What do Stevie Nicks, Rubberized Asphalt, and the Miranda Rights all have in common?
This back to Obnoxious Trivia? I don't know.
They were all born in the city of Phoenix, Arizona. So in Phoenix, you can apparently go your own way, maintain the right to remain silent, and bounce to work all at the same time.
Tempting as it is to stop the review right there,
Absolutely, that's enough.
we'll go on to point out Phoenix is also the home of Media, an exciting new alt-rock duo consisting of one Rich Nuck on drums and percussion with Billy Tegedoff on everything else. Their new self-titled disc combines their 3 previously released EPs into a single package. Influence from 2022, Synapse from 2023, and Output from 2024. It is a vibrant, compelling release with long 6 to 8 minute songs packed with intergalactic synth chirps, croaking bass lines, and explosive percussion, all topped with vocals reminiscent of that guy from Filter if he spent more time looking through telescopes. Let's play a clip. This is ME6. These two show a knack for executing slinky grooves, building delicious tension, and injecting futuristic sonics at precisely the right moments. Kimono rides a very Danny Carey adjacent beat against waves of burbling bass with guitars and synths peeking out and disappearing abruptly before our very ears. The band isn't afraid to stretch out and get the most out of a particular groove. This one wandering through quivering galactic chirps that hit a fever pitch against Nuck's explosive cymbal crashes about 3 minutes into the track, which passes through some cosmic wormhole to come out with a totally different riff on the other side.
Flicker offers a total opposite sounding array of sonic textures with clean delay charged guitar stabs and a tom-heavy pulse that pushes the heaviness deftly as the track reveals its goods. Tegetov waxing quizzically, "Now I am cowering, showing my belly. Do you like it like this? Fuck happened to me." While Nook works his way toward a calculus degree behind the kit as the track builds drama to ridiculous levels, swapping tempos, guitars in our face 1 minute and gone the next. The band is full of talent and playing it smart with the consistent release of EPs and videos. Yes, the sound is very Tool adjacent. Hey, there are worse bands for comparison, let's be real. But their futuristic approach to keyboard elements and attempts to rewrite the original theme to In Search Of are a world of their own. So grab this limited edition disc from the Bandcamp page before they are gone, and remember, anything you say or do can be used against you in a court of law. This is Kimono. I think we need 18 of them. Okay, Deaf Ears 2 is the new album from Lux Interna, Wilderness Gospels.
By all accounts, I'm a metal girl. The heavy is where I live, where I gravitate towards, what vibrates in my chest. It's my wheelhouse. But something in these gothy, windswept tracks from Lux Eterna found an echo in my dome dark heart. So I chose to dive into a very different kind of album. What happens when the song of the world begins to slip into static? When the maps fail and the familiar trails vanish? These are the questions Lux Eterna poses on their Bandcamp page, and perhaps New Wilderness Gospel doesn't answer them so much as it summons deeper, more paradoxical ones. After 12 years of silence, the band returns with their fourth full-length album, and it's less a collection of songs than a ritual of reckoning. Lux Eterna, Latin for internal light, may be casting just that into the shadowy fog of our modern condition. These are times, after all, when, as Yeats warned, the falcon can no longer hear the falconer. Wilderness here feels like a call to step away from our digital entrapments, to return to the natural world and confront our own humanity without a filter.
9 tracks, mostly in the arty, unhurried, take your time for maximum expression range of 6 to 8 minutes. They are not here to preach salvation. They offer a space for reflection, for dissent, and even for transformation. Steeped in Gothic Americana and laced with a subtle thread of psychedelia, the album sounds like it was written in a mountain cabin under siege by storms, which, fittingly, it was. This is a ritual, a requiem, a rebirth, and it's a haunting one. The nearly 9-minute opener, Darkfire Revelator, sets the tone with a sweeping vision of destruction and prophecy. Rapid-fire guitar flickers like nervous thoughts, pensive, anxious, electric, when Chris Force's violin cuts across them in long, graceful strokes, offering moments of eerie calm. Joshua Levi Ian's full-bodied baritone channels the weight and drama of a young Nick Cave, grounding the chaos with gravitas. Catherine Ian enters subtly at first, her voice rich and yet feather-light, drifting in like smoke behind his. The drums, courtesy of Adam Collins Torella, begin with a halting start-stop rhythm and an intermittent knock on a locked door, before building to a full-bodied surge as the track opens wide.
Force's violin is the emotional core here, pulling at literal heartstrings with each phrase. Tremolo pick guitar notes shimmer and shiver as tempo climbs, while the drums begin to roll and bounce with urgency. Then, a break. Intermittent tambourine clangs out like a distant warning bell, and the drums drop to a ceremonial, almost tribal pace. The violin returns with its mournful refrain. Joshua shifts into near-spoken storytelling cadence, drawing the listener to a narrative space. Catherine's voice rises like an echo, disembodied but present. It's a ghost in the wilderness. No Arrow is another standout, a slow, smoky shuffle that feels like a cabaret waltz. As Catherine takes the lead, you can almost hear her swaying side to side at the microphone, locked in a slow dance with the jazzy, unhurried drums. Tim Gotch's restless bass adds a subtle, pulsing tension beneath gently strummed guitar and soft, moaning violin lines.
The arrangement is punctuated by thrilling full stops, dramatic pauses, and intentional restarts that let each silence breathe as much as each note. When Joshua enters for the second half, his voice brings a husky, deliberate weight, a grounded counterpoint to Catherine's earlier delivery, which flows light but rich, like an unbroken stream of dark syrup. The contrast between them isn't jarring, it's deeply complementary, like dusk settling over water. Together they create a mood of quiet intensity, of longing without desperation. Let's hear a little of this as No Arrow.
The walls of the flame, while the darkness a dream is the fire and the heat of your brain. With the night in your arms, the light in your body, you are shining.
Meanwhile, Brittle unfolds with elongated violin sighs that drift over guitar strums, rippling like dappled sunlight on a forest floor. Joshua's vocals take on a hypnotic quality, a smooth, rapid-fire delivery that draws the ear with its urgency. Glitchy electronic blips bubble beneath the surface, adding an unexpected layer of intrigue. The pace slows momentarily as Catherine joins in to briefly shape the piece into a duet. Then, with a shimmer of cymbals like a signal from above, the track lifts from a saunter to a trot, the drums picking up into a rhythmic gallop, hoof strikes on the dusky ground, near chaos by track's close. My favorites are in a dead heat, Like Wolves and Her Wilderness. In Like Wolves, the bass is pure seduction, bumping side to side like a burlesque dancer's hips. Joshua's delivery is rich and sugary like melted chocolate, smooth, decadent, and full of dark flavor. Soft coos float around him, adding an ethereal layer that feels both intimate and otherworldly. Catherine seems to drift in sporadically, often at the ends of lines and an echo, an afterthought, a ghost in the machine.
Midway, the violin picks up its own melody, later mirrored by the guitar. The drums stay tap light, building into a sudden pound like a sneak attack, then receding again into quiet restraint. It's hypnotic, sensual, and a little dangerous. In the epic Her Wilderness, slow guitar notes fall one by one like raindrops. Then a maraca or cabasa introduces the urgent texture of a rattlesnake shake, while a banjo plunks in unexpectedly, giving the track a sense of movement, a drone camera sweeping over a vast, wild landscape. There are eerie interludes of scattered banjo notes, as if someone is tuning up in the shadows, while layers of whispered voices rise like unseen spirits in a dream. After one of these spectral passages, the violin begins to keen softly and the drumsticks land with slow gravity, a trudge through sand, each step deliberate. Then, after the second trip into this realm of whispers and disjointed melody, the track suddenly gains traction and surges forward. The drums awaken, the momentum builds, only to slow again and return to its wandering, soul-searching mode. Near-spoken vocals are layered like a congregation, murmuring a collective prayer, unified but indistinct, floating over bowed violin and soft-plucked guitar. It feels like a pilgrimage through memory and myth.
New Wilderness Gospel isn't music for your next workout or cocktail party. It's a deliberate step away from the noise, into a liminal space where time bends and meaning lingers. Lux Eterna doesn't hand out easy answers or tidy resolutions. This album feels handcrafted, carved from wood, bone, and old memory, steeped in American Gothic, but stretched wide with cinematic scope. For those willing to sit within its shadows, New Wilderness Gospel offers a deeply immersive experience, part prayer, part reckoning, part dream. And while I may come from the realm of metal and distortion, what I found here hit just as hard, a different kind of heaviness, the kind that comes from a rain-soaked cabin, a soul-searching pilgrimage to the wilderness of self. Let's play a clip. This is her wilderness.
Shine like tea, birch clean, bright as bone. Wounded eyes, the dark pine time. I'm not alone.
Deaf Ears 3 is the new album from Ceresian Valot, Umen. I tell you, the things we do for the love of good music around here, there are always easier paths. There's a new Garbage album that drops next week, the first in 4 years. I could have featured that one. There's a new Sparks album out this week just called Mad. We might get to that one next week. But no, instead we bring you doom metal from Finland with 6 members, 2 vocalists, all with names we're going to butcher, and lyrics all in Finnish. Still with us? No? Well then go scroll Shirley Manson's Instagram.
For the 3 of you still watching, the band is Ceresian Valot, a 6-piece formed from the ashes of long-running metal moniker Ghost Brigade. The band took shape after a sprightly conversation between legacy members and newcomers, Vili Angervori and vocalist Panu Parakamaki. Yes, umlauts incoming. The album is entitled Umen, the Finnish word for depths. According to their bio, the band also employs a strong do-it-yourself ethos, as Ceresian Valot includes songwriters, graphic designers, producers, mixing and recording engineers, and even a mastering engineer in their ranks. Starting to understand our interest? No? Well, wait till we get going.
The album is stacked with lush, clean guitar fills, soaring clean vocals, and percussion that ranges from jazzy taps to massive tom rolls, demonstrating a sound very much in the vein of The Gathering or Duel. Of course, the production is immaculate, every cymbal tap, every string bend sounding glorious and powerful. While most of the runtimes on this album are over 6-minute mark, the curious title track is a short but haunting interlude, pairing spectral piano with rising synths and moody vocals, bridging 2 megaliths, the 9+ minute Tivan Skatoja and the equally colossal Poja Vertsakia.
The single Poja Versakria moves through slightly juxtaposed riff chug and sparkling clean guitar accents. Paromaki's vocals full of emotive power that transcends any language barrier. Clearly they are the focus of the song as it builds tension over its 7+ minute runtime, ice droplet synth vamps, and a huge drum sound. According to Panu, the lyrics have 2 themes. First, of a spirit downcast and disoriented, but also discusses the arawamus, a flying fish that lives in the Amazon, because why not?
Let's play a clip. This is Poja Versakya.
Despite all the vocal talent on the album, the band does sneak in an instrumental, the crunchy mid-tempo Caravana Shirelli. At this point, that garbage review is looking more and more inviting.
True story, yeah.
Dropping cinematic synth flourishes to keep things interesting and lacing in spoken word piece as well into the track. The one I kept going back to was Balo Jovat, which according to the Google machine translates into light streaks. It's hard to imagine this dramatic song isn't the album's centerpiece, kicking off with airy guitars and tickling drums as a bed for the chill bump-inducing vocals. When the riffing kicks in after a couple of minutes, the track takes on new momentum, lilting guitar hooks breaking against those immaculate vocals, roaring riffs thundering and vanishing in breathtaking exercise in light and shade.
So there you have it, metal that transcends language, packed with cinematic drama and emotional punch. The album is up on Bandcamp in multiple formats, and yes, that black and gray marble edition of the vinyl is looking sexy as hell. Thanks for hanging in there. Sparks review next week, unless we find something weirder. Let's play a clip. This is Valo Juvat. Love it. First Limerick in the books. How do you like that?
You know, we had not abused the Poetry Society at all yet.
We made up for it today.
After, tackling graffiti artists, certainly they were next on our radar.
So we're going to, once we get shut down here, we're going to head out to MDF. I don't remember if there's any rock and roll worthy bands today.
I think so.
It's a lot of the stuff for the other show. A lot of our streaming and MDF related stuff is going to be on our other show, the Snaggletooth Decay Extreme Music Podcast. So make sure that you follow that show as well as this one. And that way you'll have so much Mark and Stace, you won't even be able to move.
We can't move right now because of an orange cat. Orange cats, orange goblins. We don't know what's going to happen this weekend.
In closing, I just want to say, I told her I blankety blanked through my blankety blank, and then Betty White laughed so hard her boob fell out. This has been the Snaggletooth Rock and Roll Podcast. Special thanks to Marcus and Christopher from Vegetarian Wagon for appearing on the show. Snaggletooth theme, courtesy of Jens Kemgren of the Firebombs. Deaf Ears theme by Tim Green of the Fucking Champs. Season 4 artwork by KC Angel. You can find him on Instagram, KC Angel Art. Deaf Ears bands reviewed this week: Ceresian, Valot, Media, and Lux Interna. All content 2025, the Snaggletooth Rock and Roll Podcast.
Seuss is the king of the poets. Come at me in the comments if you think otherwise.
That's right.
This is the Snaggletooth Rock and Roll Podcast.